A familiar face is heading back to the spotlight, but not the one you might have expected. A former Raiders tight end is making his way to South Beach. No, it's not Michael Mayer. Despite recent rumors and whispers that Miami had serious interest in the young Raiders standout, that door has slammed shut. According to multiple reports, and later confirmed by Vinny Bonsignore of the Las Vegas Review-Journal, the Raiders had zero interest in dealing Mayer. Miami called, but Las Vegas didn't blink. The Dolphins weren't willing to pay the kind of price it would have taken to even spark a real conversation. And so, they pivoted. Desperate to fill a void at tight end, the Dolphins looked east, trading with the New York Giants for Darren Waller. Yes, that Darren Waller. Once a rising star in silver and black, once a weapon that made defensive coordinators lose sleep. His time with the Giants was rocky, ending in early retirement. But now, the Dolphins are giving him one last shot to rewrite his ending. As we inch closer to Raiders training camp, opening July 22nd, this move reminds us of what the Raiders have in Mayer and what they once had in Waller. Two tight ends, two different chapters, two very different legacies. Head coach Pete Carroll enters camp with a fire we haven't seen around this team in years. The battles, the energy, the vision, it's all building towards something special. And as we look ahead, the message is clear. The Raiders aren't in the business of selling off their future. They're building it. Darren Waller's retirement didn't last long, and now he's getting a second chance in South Beach. The Dolphins and Giants completed a deal that brings Waller out of retirement. The trade? A conditional 2026 sixth-round pick from Miami in exchange for a 2027 seventh-rounder and Waller's rights. He then signed a one-year contract worth up to $5 million with the Dolphins. This is a fascinating twist. Just months ago, Waller looked done with football, not because he was physically finished, but because of how he was being used. Lined up as an inside blocker, often asked to play more fullback than tight end, his fire faded fast in New York. That wasn't the role he wanted. That wasn't the player he was. And now, at age 33, he's got one more shot, this time in a Dolphins offense built on speed, space, and playmaking. And the timing? Couldn't be more perfect for Miami. They had just shipped Jonnu Smith to Pittsburgh, a move that raised serious questions. Smith was a reliable weapon last season, especially when paired with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Against the Raiders, he torched them. So the question was, how do you replace that kind of production? Answer, Darren Waller. Now Waller joins a Dolphins unit that's aggressive, explosive, and quarterbacked by Tua Tagovailoa. With Mike McDaniel calling plays, this offense thrives when it can exploit mismatches. And if Waller has anything left in the tank, which many believe he does, he could be a perfect chess piece in this scheme. For Raiders fans, Waller's comeback stirs up memories. His breakout season in 2020 was electric. He wasn't just one of the best tight ends in football, he was the matchup nightmare. Injuries and scheme changes slowed his momentum in later years, but the talent never left. So while Michael Mayer remains the present and future in Las Vegas, with the organization firmly committed to him, it's hard not to root for Waller's new chapter. The silver and black gave him his platform. Now, the Dolphins give him one final chance to remind everyone who he is. No more Mayer trade talk. That's over. The Raiders believe in him, and they're not looking back. Michael Mayer might not be Brock Bowers, but that doesn't mean he won't be a serious weapon for the Raiders in 2025. He's been praised by both Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly throughout OTAs and minicamp, and it's clear the coaching staff sees something special in him. Mayer, affectionately known as Big Mike, offers more than just soft hands. He's tough, physical, and reliable. He can block with power and catch with confidence, making him a critical piece in what's shaping up to be a versatile Raiders offense. This year, expect to see the Raiders lean heavily into 12 personnel sets, 2 tight ends on the field together. And don't be surprised if they even roll out 13 personnel at times, loading up with 3 tight ends to create matchup nightmares. With names like Brock Bowers, Meyers, Ian Thomas, and Justin Shorter in the mix, the tight end room in Las Vegas is deep, dynamic, and ready to explode. Ian Thomas, in particular, is a name to watch during training camp. He may not be a featured weapon in the passing game, but he brings toughness, experience, and the kind of under-the-radar impact that helps win games. Depth matters, and this group has it. Training camp opens July 22nd, and all eyes will be on how the Raiders deploy their loaded tight end room. The foundation is being laid for something special, an offense that can beat you in the air, on the ground, and especially across the middle of the field. This isn't about individual highlights. It's about building a unit that punishes defenses from every angle, and this tight end group might be the key to unlocking it all. Training camp is where the foundation is laid, and for the 2025 Raiders, it all begins July 22nd. That's the date every player has circled, the day the veterans report, take physicals, and get ready for the long grind ahead. But this year, it's not just another camp. It's the first one under Pete Carroll, and everything about it feels different. Structured, intentional, purposeful. This isn't guesswork. It's a plan. Over the last few years, Raiders camps have lacked rhythm, uncertain schedules, last-minute changes, and confusion. But now, there's order. There's clarity. Pete Carroll brings with him the blueprint of a proven winner, and this schedule screams preparation, discipline, and championship culture. Here's how it unfolds. After the July 22nd check-in, the team enters a 5-day acclimation period. No rushing, no chaos. Just a smart, methodical ramp-up. Practices begin at 8:30 a.m., sharp. Evenings feature 5:15 p.m. walkthroughs. It's the return of two-a-days in spirit, if not in name, and it's designed to push players while keeping them healthy and sharp. Then comes the highlight before preseason kicks off, the mock game at Allegiant Stadium, scheduled for August 2nd. Fans are already securing their tickets, and for good reason. Last year's event was electric. This time, expect more intensity, more physicality, and more eyes on the roster battles that could define the season. But here's where Pete Carroll's fingerprints are most obvious. Themed days that turn routine practices into focused missions. Competition Wednesday. Iron sharpens iron. Every rep is a test. Turnover Thursday. Defense takes center stage. Ball security is non-negotiable. No repeat. Friday. Mistakes are cleaned up. Mental sharpness is demanded. Tell the truth Monday. Accountability reigns. Coaches and players alike face the facts. Review Saturday. Fine-tuning, installing, executing. Bonus day. Extra work, extra reps, extra preparation. This isn't just about practicing. It's about shaping a mindset, about building a team that's fast, physical, and fiercely competitive. Training camp isn't a formality this year. It's the proving ground. And with Pete Carroll at the helm, every day is a step toward something bigger. The themes at Raiders training camp aren't just catchy names. They're a statement of intent. Under Pete Carroll, competition isn't an idea. It's a culture. It's etched right into the walls of the practice facility. Always compete. Every player sees it the moment they walk in. Every drill, every rep, every moment on the field is a chance to prove something. And that's what Competition Wednesday is all about, even if it doesn't actually fall on a Wednesday. The themes rotate based on the practice schedule. If the team returns from a rest day, the next session might be labeled Competition Wednesday, no matter what the calendar says. The message is clear. When it's time to battle, everyone better show up. The first themed practice lands on August 4th, and it's no coincidence that it opens with a competition day. Practice 10 begins at 10 a.m., followed by a walkthrough in the evening. But this isn't just a workout, it's a proving ground. With 90 players on the roster fighting for a spot, every drill becomes a war. Intensity spikes. Reps matter more. Energy rises. Coaches watch everything. And there's more. Turnover Thursday is next, a direct response to one of the Raiders' biggest weaknesses in recent seasons, not forcing enough takeaways. That changes now. Ball hawking is no longer optional. These days are designed to create muscle memory, instinct, and relentless pursuit of the football. Turnovers don't happen by accident. They happen through emphasis and repetition. Then comes No Repeat Friday, a day built around accountability. It's simple. Don't make the same mistake twice. Pete Carroll praised rookies earlier in the offseason, not for being perfect, but for learning fast and moving forward. That's the heart of No Repeat Friday. Grow or get passed up. And Tell the Truth Monday? That's film day. That's where the lights dim, the tape rolls, and no one can hide. The feedback is honest. The corrections are real. This is where the team separates those who just survive camp from those who thrive in it. By Review Saturday, everything comes together. The concepts, the competition, the chemistry, it all gets fine-tuned. These aren't just names for the sake of structure. These are tools for shaping a disciplined, focused, battle-ready football team. This is the Pete Carroll effect. Every single day at camp has a purpose. And by the time the season rolls around, this team won't just be prepared, they'll be forged. The structure continues, and so does the mindset. Review Saturday might show up on a Friday, and bonus day might not fall on a weekend. But that's the beauty of Pete Carroll's system. It's not about the calendar, it's about purpose. Every day has a name, every name carries weight. And those themes aren't just slogans, they're standards. The Raiders' joint practice with the 49ers is set for August 14th, right before their second preseason game, which takes place at Allegiant Stadium on August 16th. These joint practices matter because they bring real intensity, real matchups, real pressure. And this year, it's different. The Raiders didn't do this last season under Antonio Pierce. Now they will, and that change reflects a sharper focus on evaluation and growth. Pete Carroll, once known for steering clear of joint practices in Seattle, is changing course in Las Vegas. Why? Because iron sharpens iron. Facing an elite defense like San Francisco's before the preseason clash gives the Raiders a rare chance to test themselves against one of the league's best. When the 49ers were last in town, their defense showed what elite units do. They attack the football. Even before full-team drills begin, their players go through turnover-focused warm-ups, tip drills, strip drills, reaction plays. It's built into their DNA, and it shows. They don't wait for turnovers to happen. They hunt them. That's the type of identity Las Vegas is trying to build. A team that swarms, a defense that forces mistakes. Last year, the Raiders managed just 10 interceptions. Pete Carroll once coached a team that grabbed 28 in a single season. That's not luck. That's repetition, structure, and expectation. Every detail in this training camp reflects a bigger shift. Turnover Thursday isn't just a name, it's a challenge. Review Saturday isn't just film, it's reflection. Bonus day isn't just extra reps, it's extra opportunity. And when players hear, "Today is Turnover Thursday," it hits differently than, "Today is Practice 11." The language sets the tone. It gives the work meaning. It reminds the roster, whether you're a first rounder or fighting for a final spot, that every single snap matters. That's the new Raiders way. Every representative, every day, every theme. There's something powerful about putting a name to the grind. When Raiders players show up and see Turnover Thursday on the schedule, it hits differently. That label flips a switch. The urgency rises. Focus sharpens. It's no longer just another practice in the desert heat. It's a challenge with a purpose. That's the magic behind these themed days. They energize the roster. They inject personality into the process. Whether it's Tell the Truth Monday or Bonus Day, the label gives the work a deeper meaning. It's not just reps, it's identity. You can bet players like Brock Bowers, Maxx Crosby, Geno Smith, and Jakobi Meyers feel it too. They see the same calendar fans see. They know what each day demands. When the heat bears down and the grind gets real, it's those themes that keep the edge sharp. It's not just about surviving camp, it's about thriving in it. The first preseason test comes August 7th in Seattle. It'll be under the lights at 7 p.m., a perfect measuring stick against Pete Carroll's former team. Then comes a marquee matchup on August 16th at Allegiant Stadium against the 49ers. A high-stakes follow-up to their joint practice just days prior. Kickoff is at 1 p.m. Pacific. The final tune-up arrives August 23rd against the Arizona Cardinals in Glendale. That 7 p.m. clash will mark the end of the preseason, but not the end of the grind. Because in Las Vegas, this camp is more than a warm-up. It's a mission. And from day one, every practice, every drill, and every theme is pulling this team towards something bigger. The countdown is on. Raiders training camp is just weeks away, and the anticipation is at a boiling point. The moment July 4th passes, Al Davis's birthday fittingly, it'll be here in a flash. Las Vegas is staring down a preseason schedule that will put this team to the test. August 7th versus Seahawks in Seattle, 7 p.m. Pacific Time. August 16th versus 49ers at Allegiant Stadium, 1 p.m. Pacific Time. August 23rd versus Cardinals in Arizona, 7 p.m. Pacific Time. 3 games, 3 proving grounds, 3 chances to see which Raiders are ready for war and who's just wearing the jersey. But beyond the X's and O's, the locker room still has a standard to uphold, and that includes how players carry themselves off the field. A recent viral clip of quarterback Geno Smith surfaced, stirring controversy after comments made at a public charity event. As one Raider fan pointed out, it's a reminder that NFL players aren't just athletes. They're leaders, role models, and representatives of their organization. Smith is no rookie. He's a veteran. He's been praised for his growth, maturity, and professionalism in interviews and on the field. But in this moment, he fell short. And in the league, especially in the NFL's most scrutinized role, a starting quarterback, every word carries weight. The expectation is simple: lead with composure, lead with accountability, and lead with the understanding that your platform can either unite or divide. Pete Carroll has always demanded integrity from his players, and now, more than ever, it's up to the locker room to reset the tone and hold the standard. Whether it's training camp battles, themed practices, or off-field leadership, this team has a chance to forge a new identity. But it starts with character. It starts with purpose. It starts now. When you're in the spotlight, especially as an NFL quarterback, every word matters. Geno Smith found himself at the center of controversy this week after a short video from a 7-on-7 tournament surfaced online. The clip showed him passionately addressing a crowd, and it quickly made the rounds on social media. Some felt the tone crossed a line. Others argued it was taken out of context. The truth? None of us truly know the full story. The clip was brief, maybe 30 seconds, and without context, it's impossible to judge what came before or after. But one thing is certain. In today's world, there's always a camera rolling. Always. And for a player like Geno Smith, who's earned respect for his on-field play and mature interviews, it's crucial to stay composed, especially at public events. Not just because of public image, but because young eyes are watching. Teammates are watching. The league is watching. This wasn't a charity event. It was a youth football tournament. Geno was coaching. Emotions run high in competitive settings, but even then, restraint matters. This isn't about canceling a player or rushing to judgment. It's about accountability. It's about understanding the weight of your words, whether you're leading a huddle or addressing a crowd. And that brings us to another tough conversation: Henry Ruggs. A fan from Seattle raised a question. Could Ruggs ever return to the NFL? It's a topic that sparks deep emotion. Everyone believes in second chances, but second chances must be earned, not just by serving time, but by showing genuine change. The idea floated was bold: Ruggs taking a minimum deal, keeping a fraction for himself, and donating the rest to the family impacted by his actions. Play for redemption. Play to honor the life that was lost. Play to set a standard for what true accountability looks like in the NFL. Will it happen? No one knows. Some teams may never consider it. Others might weigh the possibility. But if it does happen, it must come from a place of sincerity, not just strategy. Because this league isn't just about touchdowns and tackles. It's about character. It's about leadership. And in moments like these, those traits matter more than ever. What Nate from Seattle said really stuck with me. If Henry Ruggs is ever going to play football again, it starts with one thing: the family. Not public statements, not press conferences. A conversation with Tina Tintor's family. A chance to ask for forgiveness. A chance to listen. And if they offer even a fraction of peace, then maybe, just maybe, a second chance becomes more than just a conversation. But like Nate said, talk is cheap. You have to walk it. You have to own it. And most importantly, you have to use your story to help others never make the same mistake. There's no rewriting what happened. No sentence brings Tina or her dog back. But Ruggs could become an example, not just of consequence, but of redemption. That path would be long. It would be humbling. But if he's willing to take it, then maybe something good could come from something unspeakably tragic. Now, on a much lighter note, let's shift gears and head to Denver, Mile High Stadium, where Metallica lit up the stage this weekend. But the story wasn't just the music. It was James Hetfield, the legendary frontman, grabbing the mic at the end of the show and asking the crowd how it felt to cheer for a lifetime Raiders fan in the Denver Donkeys Stadium. The crowd booed, naturally, but Hetfield didn't stop. He turned around, pointed to the Bronco statue high above the south stands and said, "Aw, look how cute, a little donkey." And then, with that signature Metallica attitude, he signed off. "Thanks for letting us play in your cute little donkey stadium. Metallica loves Denver." That's how you wave the silver and black flag, on enemy turf, with unapologetic pride. Shout out to Bessemer Raider for sharing that story. Another fan, Hardcore Raider, actually called into the radio show earlier this week with the same tale. When something like that goes viral among Raider Nation, you know it's something special. So here's to loyalty. Whether it's on stage at a stadium, between the lines on Sunday, or in the darkest corners of real-life struggle, loyalty, truth, and redemption always rise to the surface. And as always, there's only one nation, Raider Nation. How cool is that? Turns out Hardcore Raider was at that Metallica show too, and told me the exact same story live on the radio. Raider Nation was in the building loud and proud, even at Mile High. And yeah, James Hetfield has never hidden where his loyalty lies. He's a Raider fan through and through. Honestly, I'd love to get him on the show. He's been mentioned before. Shout out to Vegas Jess for bringing that up, and now might be the perfect time. I'll work every connection I have. A conversation like that would be epic. Now, let's keep the conversation rolling. Got a text from Raider Morpheus, and it's a good one. Besides Maxx, who on defense can take away an opposing team's top receiver? And what about Bess? Can he be a dependable target for Geno? Are we overhyping him, or could he be something special? Let's start with the defense. If you're talking lockdown guys, you're really focusing on corners and safeties. Obviously, Maxx Crosby doesn't cover wideouts, but what he does is wreck a quarterback's timing before those passes even get thrown. As for the back end, Jacorian Bennett is the name I circle. Last year, before the injury, he was showing real promise. The potential's there, but like we always say, potential means nothing if you can't stay on the field. He's got to prove he can be healthy and consistent. Beyond him, it's open season. Could Eric Stokes be that guy? Could Darian Porter Jr. emerge? What about Dam Richardson with a bounce-back year? All possible, all unproven. Now, looking at the front seven, outside of Maxx, Malcolm Kunsey is the name to watch. If he's healthy, he's dangerous. Adam Butler in the middle will be asked to anchor things. And if, and it's a big if, Christian Wilkins comes back, That changes everything. But until then, you've got to bet on the guys in the building. And don't sleep on Isaiah Polamau. He earned that 3-year extension for a reason. They believe in him. He's going to be expected to deliver as a true playmaker in the secondary. There are holes. That's the truth. But there's also young talent. And with the way Pete Carroll has this camp structured, we're going to learn real quick who's ready to rise and who's not. Now, on to the offense. Let's talk about Bess. A lot of hype has been swirling around Dante Thornton, but Bess has that move the chains, be where you need me, catch everything in sight kind of vibe. Is he Cooper Kupp? That's a stretch. But could he be that dependable underneath safety valve for Geno? Absolutely. He's crisp in his roots, smart in space, and already earning trust with the coaching staff. I wouldn't call him flashy, but I'd definitely call him reliable. And sometimes that's the most valuable guy on the field. Great question, Morpheus. Appreciate you tapping in. Just win, baby. Let's keep it rolling with the conversation from Raider Morpheus and follow up on a few names. Starting with Dante Thornton, the wide receiver out of Tennessee, drafted in the 4th round. Physically, he's got the tools: size, speed, and vertical ability. Think Trey Tucker, but with length, and that gives him a different kind of upside. But the challenge? He's coming out of Josh Heupel's system, an offense built on wide splits, quick reads, and spacing, similar to what Art Briles ran at Baylor. Those systems don't always translate clean to the NFL. That being said, the coaching staff gave him plenty of early looks during mandatory minicamp. They're clearly hoping he catches on fast. The opportunity is there. It's just a matter of how quickly he can adjust to the complexity and physicality of the NFL game. Now, let's talk about Jack Beck. This dude is just different. He's got that toughness over flash mindset, the kind of guy who wants contact, leans into blocking, and will go over the middle without hesitation. When I watch him, I think of guys like Hines Ward, not afraid to throw blocks, not afraid to get hit, and absolutely not afraid to lay someone out. Would I compare him to Cooper Kupp? Not really. Kupp's game is precision and timing. Beck is more raw, more physical. Not quite Anquan Boldin either, but that same built-from-brick mentality. Maybe a tougher version of Tyler Lockett, if we're going with the Pete Carroll Seattle blueprint. Lockett was smart, dependable, and worked the underneath routes like a pro. That's a mold Beck could grow into, just with a bit more grit. Bottom line, Beck can carve out a real role on this team. He's not just a depth piece, he's a glue guy, a warrior, a Raider. Biggest hurdle right now? Get him signed. Once that's done, I'm expecting to see him contribute immediately. Now, to close things out, we've got a call from Jacob in Wilmington, North Carolina, who's jumping into the deeper, more philosophical thread we've been exploring the past few days. Hey Q, Raider Nation. This is Jacob from Wilmington. Been listening to the convo on competition and excellence. That was dope that you played Mr. Key's track, by the way. That hit. I've been a Pete Carroll guy since USC. I love the way he coaches, how he treats every player like an individual, always challenging them to get better. It's like a real commitment to excellence. It reminds me of something. Jacob goes on to say he's an artist and also a professor at Cape Fear Community College. He's currently building out a philosophy syllabus. And Pete Carroll's mindset? That whole always compete culture. It speaks to something deeper than just football. He mentioned how when Tom Brady joined the Raiders, he brought out a coin given to him by his sister. On that coin? Those words we all live by. Commitment to excellence. That's what this is all about. It's not just about practices or stats. It's about the standard you set for yourself, your team, your life. And Pete Carroll's message fits right into that ethos. This entire training camp, with all its themes, from Turnover Thursday to Tell the Truth Monday, it's about creating that mindset. Every day has purpose. Every moment is a rep towards something bigger. Jacob, I appreciate the call, brother. That's exactly the kind of energy we're looking for as training camp gets closer. Man, holy goodness, what a call from Jacob in Wilmington. He's not just a professor of world literature, he's a Raider philosopher. He said he teaches The Autumn Wind in his classroom and breaks it down line by line with his own critical analysis. And I can't think of a better way to describe what it means to be part of Raider Nation. It's not just a team, it's identity. It's poetry in motion, with grit. He said something that stuck with me. I respect what Al Davis stood for, and I see that same spirit in Pete Carroll. The way he goes about his business, the way he builds his team, the mindset. Always compete, always grow, every single day. Whether you're lining up at cornerback, working in radio, or painting like Jacob, you sharpen your craft daily. You take pride in the process. You compete with the best that ever was. Jacob wants to work for the Raiders. Do a portrait of Jim Otto, something powerful, something iconic. And if they say, we want you to paint history, Jacob's ready with a bet. Let's go. And that's the exact kind of hunger we're talking about. This isn't just football. It's philosophy. It's legacy. Pete Carroll's themed practices, Turnover Thursday, Tell the Truth Monday, No Repeat Friday. They aren't gimmicks. They're structure. They're psychology. They're culture-building tools. This is about creating a team that knows who it is. A team that competes on every rep. A team that walks into the facility, sees always compete on the door, and understands what it means. A team that walks into Allegiant Stadium with purpose and finally starts flipping those one-score losses into wins. Because you know what that mindset is called? Just win, baby. Jacob, I appreciate the passion. You reminded all of us what it means to chase something bigger than yourself. That's going to wrap up today's show. Coming up tomorrow, we'll have more calls, more texts, more insight. We'll also get ready to honor Al Davis's birthday and the 4th of July right around the corner. Until then, Raider Nation, take care of yourself. Take care of your family. Love on your family. And most importantly, just win, baby.